about a father who dream of being a king, and they all became one, except for the name. A few other changes to talk about me. The story is the same one, but I've got this emptiness deep inside, and it won't let me go. And I'm a man who don't like to swear, but I hate the sound of being alone. I am myself. To know it's all about you. LA's fine with sunshine most of the time, and the feeling is laid back. Palm Tree Road, rents are low, don't you know? But I keep working my way back. But I'm a Jamaican boy who's born and raised. Nowadays I'm lost between two shores. LA's fine, but it ain't home. New York is home, but it ain't mine no more. I ain't too sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening, good evening. How are you? How is everybody doing this evening? Hey, how's it going? How is it going? How is it going in your neck of the woods? I know. Um, I am I'm jumping around here because as you would have seen, I am not in my right place. Yeah. I'm not in my right place. So I have to be doing all kinds of something, right? So but I am here. I am here. How y'all doing this evening? I hope that you are in good spirits and everything is fine with you. I am I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Um I want to say welcome to everybody who is tuning in. Those of you tuning in on the radio, Caribbean Vibes Radio.com, Caribbean Vibes Radio.com, Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. I am grateful. I am grateful to have you, those of you on Fit FM. Right? I am grateful to have you. I hope that this evening's topic, I can get some engagement because it is one that we often talk about. I am hope to be joined later on by Sister Julia, and we also have another guest that is lined up this evening that we hope will join us. My name is Chris Wilby, as most of you know. My YouTube channel is KVRN, KVR Network, and this is the Hot Topics. Yeah, this is the Hot Topics. I am looking forward to having a great show this evening. I want to say good evening to Sister Camille, who is joining us right now. Don't forget to send the link out to those of you, those are your friends tuning in. Send the link. Those of you watching on social media, send out the link to your friends. We are live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube. Now, what I want to do, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do this evening, we want to go into the topic because Julia is going to join us this evening, and Julie Mansfield, rather, not Julia. I'm saying Julie Mansfield is going to join us. Julie Mansfield some more. I I am constantly butchering her name, but hey, listen, it is what it is. I can pronounce the Mansfield and I can pronounce Julie. So I think that should be good enough for right now, right? The other one I think is French, and so it's a little bit difficult for me to pronounce that one, right? Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to see me looking down a lot, right? Because everything that I have to work with is down on my desk, right? As I tell you, I am out of my studio. I am not in my regular studio. So I have to be doing all kinds of adjustments and trying to get this thing to work, right? So I'm going to be looking down a lot this evening, unfortunately, because all of my stuff that I need to work with, and the camera is in front of me. The camera is up here. I am My stuff is down here, so it is a little bit, you know. So let me know if you are hearing me loud and clear. If you're hearing me loud and clear, let me know so that we can I don't want to be here talking and you're not hearing me. So I do hope that you are hearing me loud and clear. So if you're hearing me and you're watching me, I want you to type it on the screen. If you're watching, type it on the screen. Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. So stand by once again. Before I go, let me remind all of my audience, the listening audience, that the views expressed on this channel, on this show, are not necessarily those of our affiliated radio station. They are solely the views of the host, right? So, those of you, thank you very much, Sister Camille. Thank you. So, those of you who are listening, the views expressed are not necessarily those of our affiliated stations. They are of the host. So yeah, big up yourself, everybody. So, is there a thin line? That is the question this evening. Is there a thin line? Is there a thin line between sexual abuse and women in Jamaica just playing hard to get? Is there a thin line between women in Jamaica, between sexual abuse and women in Jamaica playing hard to get? And this topic came about because we were having a discussion, a group of friends, and we're talking about good evening to you. Cars and computers are your thing. Yeah, we're talking about this topic. How it is that people in Jamaica, how we grew up, and you know, if it is still a thing in Jamaica, right? So tonight we're going to tackle a very difficult but necessary conversation. Is there a thin line between what some people call playing hard to get and what is actually sexual abuse or rape? And for generations in Jamaica, many men have grown up hearing phrases such as, she really wants it. Yeah, enough away, hear that growing up. She's just playing hard to get. Or sometimes the troubling expression, me just hold her and take it. Now, these attitudes have been passed down through cultures, through the music, through peer pressure, and all of that. Now, the problem is that consent does not operate on assumptions. Many men will genuinely believe a woman is interested in him. He may even think she is being coy, she is being shy, or she's just playing a game. However, if she says no, if she says stop, if she pulls away, or if she appears fearful, uncomfortable, intoxicated, or unable to freely consent, then there is absolutely no room for any form of interpretation. The safest and most responsible thing is to believe her. If she says stop, you should stop. If you are unsure, you should ask. If the answer is not an enthusiastic yes, then you should leave it alone. Do not proceed. I don't understand how some people don't understand that. Oh, them not get that. You understand? Too many young men have found themselves facing allegations in investigations, criminal charges, and prison sentences because they interpreted rejection as flirtation or resistance as a challenge to overcome. At the same time, at the same time, we must also acknowledge the devastating impact that sexual violence has on women and girls. Because rape is not merely uh hold on there, hold on there. Let me see if I can all right, hold on there. I am hang on there, big bro. Hang on there. Just stand by. All right. So rape is not merely a physical act, it is a violation of a person's dignity, bodily autonomy, and sense of safety. Victims often suffer depression, anxiety, post traumatic stress disorder, which is PTSD, trust issues in future relationships, difficulty maintaining intimate relationship, self blame and shame, substance abuse, and problems. And many survivors carry the emotional scars for years or even decades. And we can go into the statistics and all that, but we are going to discuss that in a little while, right? But let me go back. Um, all right, let me go back and wait. Let me see who else on here was on social media. See if we can big up some people. All right, so we have Sister Pat here saying good evening and waving. Sister Jackie is here. Good evening to you, Sister Jackie. All right, so our main guest, she's trying to log in, but she said she can't get in. She can't get to log in yet. But all right, so stand by for me one moment, ladies and gentlemen. Just stand by for me one moment.
to shore. LA's fine, but it ain't home. New York is home, but it ain't mine no more. I am myself to no one there, and no one heard at all, not even the chance. I am my pride. I have said and I am lost and
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So let me, before I go any further, this is a new system for me. I've never worked this system before. It is a new system. So I want you all to um, forgive me for any mistakes that I am going to be making, and just work with me until I get familiar with it. All right? Because when I see how late I come on this evening, it's because me they are sweat. I try figure it out because things happen to the other one, and you just have to just improvise as you go along because I saw it going. Because we are Jamaicans, yeah, and we not give up like that. We so we have two guests here, ladies and gentlemen. We have two guests this evening who is going to join us. Um, we have Donald, and one of the things I like to do, I like to make people introduce themselves, because sometimes me get it wrong. So we have Donald here, and I know that he's a great guy. He's a Jamaican, and he's gonna give us things from the male perspective. And we also have Julie here. Now, Julie, I can't pronounce your last name. I tried like about 10 times. So, but anyway, and ladies and gentlemen, Donald is not able to join us on camera, but he will be giving us his take. So, good evening to you, lady and gentlemen.
Hello,
Eve-
hello.
Evening.
How are you?
Oh, you do.
Pleasant good evening.
Oh, you do, Sister Julie.
Me there, man. There. I finally figured it out. Me and technology.
Why? I mean, and your sister. I know you're alone. We technology and we are not really friend.
No, and for which generation?
No. So, what? How is everything in your neck of the woods?
Me or Donald?
You may talk to Julie.
Oh, me there, man. I'm here in Florida with the grandkids, and I had to bribe them to keep quiet. You might hear a little, a little intrusion every now and again.
As
What you bribe them with?
Toys, lots of
Milk.
toys.
milk, milk and cookies.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, man. Good to have you guys on, and I do appreciate you coming on this evening. Sister Julie, I've been wanting to talk to you for about 500 years. You
Me
know.
not that old. Me only 499 year.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Julie is no stranger to Caribbean Vibes Radio Network. Julie was one of the first persons I interviewed when we started this thing just over 10 years ago. You see how long it is, Sister Julie?
Congratulations.
Why? And we still are going.
Me I tell you, man, huge
Yeah,
congratulations.
yes. So, you were one of the first persons I interviewed. You were in that batch. I can't say for sure if you were the first or the second or the third, but I know that you were in that group of people that started the ball rolling.
Mhm.
And we've been in touch. I followed your story. I followed you around the globe because at one point you did runway, gone somewhere else, gone live. We know
Yes.
that you were in Jamaica, and you left Jamaica, and you go so and you go so, and next thing I see a last name upon the Mansfield, and so so yeah, always life treating you.
Life is fantastic. I cannot complain. I now have, when we first spoke, I was me, myself, and I. Me now have 5 grand picnic.
Oh Lord have
Nice.
mercy, because
Nice.
it shows
Yeah.
how much time has passed. So
Exactly.
Julie Mansfield, how you pronounce your last name?
Swamo.
Oh,
Suomo. So it's
oh, it's
Julie
French.
Mansfield Suomo.
Yeah, just like picture SWAMMO.
Oh,
And Donald, you want to tell the people them who you be, my brother?
so, their short introduction. Nice to meet you, Julie. Pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you, Donald. If only virtually, if you know.
Yeah. So I'm Donald. My name is Donald Hewlett. I'm here via knowing Chris as a good friend. We like to pride ourselves in the very constructive, conversations that we have
Mm-hmm.
on a regular basis, and it's usually rooted in facts. And I
Mm-hmm.
like that about Chris. He's very he's not one to be biased. He likes
Mm-hmm.
to come from a point of, hey, the facts were, our information was given to me, and I have parsed it as much as I can with
Mm-hmm.
my opinion mixed in a little bit, and I enjoy that type of, it's not good to be in an echo chamber. So
Yeah, good banter.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
and I quite
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that. So, as as someone who has had his fair share of life experiences, and whether it be the bad side of it and the good side of it, I feel like I can put my 2 cents in, and yeah, so hence why I'm here, and good to be here. Yeah.
Uh,
Welcome, sir.
Thank you,
Welcome.
thank you,
all
thank
right.
you.
Yeah, man. Bless up. Bless up. All right. So, and we now are going into the meat of the matter, ladies and gentlemen. So, the question I have, Sister Julie,
Mm-hmm.
is there a thin line between sexual abuse and women in Jamaica just playing hard to get? And I don't know if I coined the question correctly, but this is how I'm thinking about it. So let me
Mm-hmm.
go explain a little bit more why that question. Now, we grew up in Jamaica where um, sometimes women would um, would hear the phrase literally, she does not play hard forget, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes a man will even have or a young guy will even have a little spigo, and they are, you know, messing around, not, and the man feels, to me, he feels a little bit entitled because he feels like the moment he starts to interact on that level with the woman, he's entitled to her body.
Mm-hmm.
And he may invite the girl over to his place or vice versa. And the minute they get into that close space,
Mm-hmm.
he feels like him have to get it. And there are times when the woman will like the man, but she is not really ready to
Mm-hmm.
take that extra step. But in the man's mind, as long as him can hold her and take it, him good to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I am asking, and sometimes the women, they didn't necessarily want it, but they didn't make a big deal out of it because them fight and them lose the battle and things happen and then just keep. Sometimes these people end up even getting married,
Mm-hmm.
but so that is why I frame it that way. Is there a thin line between the woman just playing hard to get, or what's your take on the topic on how I frame it?
I think they're two distinct things and two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Playing hard to get and entitlement are different.
Yeah.
Uh, right? And I'm going to tell you why I say that. I'm going to use a classic song we all know and love and we all dance to, but very few people really pay attention to the
To the
lyrics, for
lyrics.
example,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So you have this song, oh, Jesus. Jean's mother said, what is it called? No Gesturing.
Yep.
Right,
Hmm?
right, yes.
Where he's being insistent, though he watched her go from toys to boys.
Mm-hmm.
So we're assuming he's an adult who watched this little picnic grow up,
Grow up. Yep.
right? But he's hell bent on having her for his wife, regardless of what the mother says. Okay,
Yep.
so there is this and I don't want to get into the, I'm not a male basher, I'm none of those things. However, when we look at the cultural approach and the way women are treated in Jamaica, and it's not just in Jamaica, but we're talking about Jamaica now, right? This
Now. Yeah.
is, Jamaica has the spotlight now. Here in Florida with the
Mm-hmm.
grandkids, you know, is
Yes,
that there
man. Go
is
ahead.
an entitlement. Like, they own almost, and they have to get what they want on their terms. Playing hard to get, I think every woman or even guys do that to a certain extent. You can't make yourself too available, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's the cat and mouse game or the chase, and some women want to be pursued, as I'm sure some men want to be pursued. What really ties them together is that Jamaica has a culture of sexual predation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
by the time the woman reaches 18, most of them have been introduced to some form of sexual abuse. Now, sexual abuse, what it does is lowers your self-esteem, it lowers your self-worth, it lowers, how you see yourself. And does that play into it? It doesn't become hard to get. Sexual abuse sort of, um what's the word, it engenders promiscuity,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a promiscuity is a direct byproduct of sexual abuse.
Right.
So I think playing hard to get and sexual abuse are kind of, does one lead to the other? I don't necessarily see that I wouldn't make that connection.
Mm-hmm.
Now what I would say is that sexual violence, sexual assault
Yeah. That's a whole.
comes in when the man says, why the girl there, she young, fresh and green, for quote Barrington Levy. Yes, I'm on the song lyrics, right? And I have to get her.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's a difference between sexual abuse, sexual assault, sexual violence, and playing hard to get. I hope
Okay.
I answered the question.
Yeah, man. No problem. D, what's your take on the topic?
Uh, so I can I cannot 100% say that based on experiences, stories between friends, and growing up in certain neighborhoods or certain areas, you do become privy to those kind of stories where you as a child you never really paid attention to the semantics and all that was related to a situation like that. But
Mm-hmm.
as an adult, I can 100% say that there there is a line. There is a line is that separates the two. No, the line is typically blurred by consent, and whether it be implied consent or verbal or
Mm-hmm.
something that gives you the go ahead. It implies it. So if I am dating a girl and or not dating, courting, because back then it wasn't dating, it was we tell a girl we like her and she might give it the giggle and the blush and the little cues that made us aware of her interest or
Right.
her mutual interest. So to me, that's an implied consent. So as long as the relationship continues in that, or the conversation continues in that direction, I can say, well, if we got to the point where, like you say, I invited her home and we ended up in a situation, because as a young man, I'm not gonna tell a lie. I would, she come in at the house, me start put the little moves on her, me talk to her, me kiss her up, and you know, while I was not the type of guy to force things. Me easy for shame. Let me start this. so,
Yeah.
so I wasn't the type to force a situation. If a girl showed a lack of interest, I would easily separate myself. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, there are stories relating to that where you saw or you heard even when the girl showed no interest anymore, because a girl can change her mind. You get me? I say so. You can, at the beginning, the intention was there on her part. You got a bit of implied consent, but she then retracted because maybe you did something she didn't like, or she realized the situation was more serious than it should be at her age, and she kind of now is withdrawn from it. But
Mm-hmm.
push yourself because you said, no man, you're there, me yard. You know the story. You're there, me yard. Me not make you left here so something to happen. You get
Mm-hmm.
what I say?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so with that being said, I think there is a thing. I think there is a line between the two. Um, but you, as a younger person who didn't have access to certain information, certain that the internet now provides, the internet is a good and evil thing. It's how you use it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Mhm.
with this information that is now available to people to know what consent is versus what it isn't,
Mm-hmm.
you now have that ability. But back then we didn't know. We'd never really. You have the people like my friend, like Sister Julie said, there there is the violent version of it, where hands down you see a girl a walk on the road nighttime and you hold her, that is rape. Me
Mm-hmm.
not care what. Me not care if you had a previous interaction with the girl where she might have smiled at you. You get me? I say, and
Yeah.
that is where that whole mentality of them feel like they're entitled to that
Mm-hmm.
to hold her and take it, and she shouldn't say nothing
Yeah.
because me deserve this.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I do believe there's a line, and with that line, we might not have known that there was a line at the time, but an outsider looking in, or the person, not even an outsider, but the person it happened to, which would be the female in this situation, she might travel with that scar for the rest of her life, even though she didn't let it hinder her growth in life.
Mm.
It traveled with her.
All right. All right. So thank you very much,
Yeah.
Donald. No, Sister Julie,
Mhm.
we are go talk a little bit about, and before I go, I want to also welcome to Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music, your ears, the big station out of Trelawney, Jamaica. Thank you, Sister Julia.
Mhm.
You know, I was mixing up the names, Julia and Julie, because
It's a movie. It is a movie.
so big up Sister Julia
Mhm.
from Fit FM at 96.7 in Trelawney. So we are talking to a wide cross section of people, and them say the more you live, is the more you learn, because there's a lot that we did not know growing up, because we took it for granted, and because we grew up in a society. Me often tell myself, so I'm glad to me leave Jamaica,
Mhm.
because you grew up in a society where it is very toxic, and there are certain things that people accept as norm,
Yeah.
where it is just absolutely not okay to do certain things. And looking back, the things that I used to hear from some men, boy, I tell you, it just
Mhm.
no, it make me cringe.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
Sister Julie.
Yeah, Julie Mango.
Cut
Yeah,
it
the
out.
mango, the
Yeah.
sweet
Remember the
one.
manga, man.
Yeah, man.
All
Mhm.
right. So you
Mm,
are no stranger to sexual abuse,
Mhm.
and you have shared your story uh, many times over. Now, I don't know if you want to give just a brief uh, introduction or a brief summary of your story of sexual abuse, and then we can go further into it. About what inspired you to begin
Mhm.
speaking publicly about it. As a survivor. So you can give a brief summary of your experience as a victim and a survivor, and
Mhm.
what inspired you to come public with it.
Okay, so before I do that, quickly, I want to go back to something Donald said.
mhm.
And rape begins when the woman says no,
Yeah.
whether or not it's grabbed off the street,
Yep.
if you're even if you're engaged in foreplay and what have you, the minute that person says no
Mhm.
and the other party continues, that is rape. And for me, all rape is violent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there. Now, I grew up in Chris's parish of St. Thomas.
Chubba! Awa!
So,
Awa! See there?
but
See
Right?
there
that,
now?
that can make it sound like I best parish. I sent him
All
a
you,
come
all you
from,
mean?
man.
All you
I
mean?
Se-
sent it, bread
listen,
basket. You can't tell me nothing.
Exactly.
Okay.
All the best mango, all the best come
se-
from St. Thomas, all right?
said
All
Tama.
right.
Listen, hey,
So,
listen, Donald,
Yeah.
you are outnumbered tonight, brother. So just
Brother.
keep,
hush,
just keep
hush,
calm. All right.
hush.
All right. All right. All right. Me know what
Uh,
for my car now, man. Me know what
all
for.
right, Julie. The
Yeah.
floor is yours.
So,
The floor is
so
yours.
I'm gonna try and make this as the synopsis as brief as possible. But
Mhm.
starting at age 8, I was first molested by my mother's brother, my mother's youngest brother. I refuse to call them relatives.
Relatives,
Okay,
yeah.
they're no relatives of mine. And in fact, I'm having trouble with my teeth. I don't know if you guys can see my teeth, but whatever. Because at one point he was trying to rape me. At I think maybe by then I was about 10. And when I fought and fought, he picked up a rock and punched me in my mouth, and my teeth, dangled and blah, blah, blah. Long story.
Yeah.
He was not the first. He was not the last. He was the first. He was not the last. I've been abused by church members, by family doctor,
Mm.
by Obiaman, and that's a
Oh,
long story,
yeah.
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
But in the end, I wrote about it. It's all in my book called Maybe God Was Busy.
Oh, wow.
Shameless plug.
Mhm. No,
But
it's totally fine. Totally fine.
yeah, but um at that age, uh, when that kind of abuse happens, you don't even know it's abuse. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
This ought not to be happening. But and I was one of those kids. I actually went and I told my mother.
Mm.
And my mother, rest her soul, marched us up to my grandparents' house, and she told them what their son had done, and they literally called me a little liar,
Mm,
as though at age 8 I am going to make up that kind of story. Okay, there are plenty of things to lie about at age 8, like who teeth the sweetie and
right.
that stuff.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't, yeah, you don't conjure in an 8-year-old mind what to lie about being touched.
Right.
Okay, so why I decided to come out publicly, and I called it a coming out, is because my own daughter was also abused.
Oh,
Wow.
And I thought at the time, had I spoken out and had I not held that shame, because it's a shame we assign to ourselves, and we find every reason in the world to blame ourselves for what happened to us. All right. At least I did. And so when it happened to my child, I decided I am going to blow the lid completely off. I will reassign the shame and the blame and the guilt and all that stuff. And I actually publicly outed my mother's brother who did that to me.
Mhm.
Mm.
Okay. Um, and it has been the biggest really, and yes, he's threatened me, and he continues to threaten my life.
Wow.
Okay.
Till
So,
today day?
sorry.
I'm sorry, not to cut you. Till today day?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yes, he send
Wow.
nasty threats. And he might go send gunman, and he might go send, and one way me have to do if him have to go hobby a man or whatever him have to do. And here I am, bitch, come get me. Sorry, I cussed. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me clean up my mouth. Oh, and remember that I'm in polite company.
Yeah. Well, Jamaican, so it goes
Yeah, man,
sometimes.
it come out,
Yeah, come
it
on.
slip
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
But I'm going to try my best to keep them under wraps.
Yeah.
Yeah, only because we're on radio.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
So yeah, it's been a journey. I am almost 58.
Mhm.
So 50 years later, it's not something you ever heal from.
No. Yeah.
You do not heal. It messes up relationships. You question your worth. You have imposter syndrome, and no matter what you achieve in this world, you still question, could I have done more had I not been messed with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's a lifelong legacy. It's a legacy that just follows you for the rest of your days. And we did a documentary a few years back, and to see some of the comments on that documentary of people, more recently, I did a TikTok video, and to see people who are in their 60s, and one woman who was 86 years old still talking about being imprisoned by the abuse that happened when she was a child. So
Mm.
it's not a thump. You don't get over it. It's not a physical blow. You don't, you know what I mean? It does not heal. I call myself healing, constantly healing, because I made it a priority, because I don't want to remain a victim to
To
those monsters.
yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest challenges you face after the abuse?
I was what them call a bright student, come
Mm.
first in my class, and all of a sudden I had no interest in school.
Yeah.
Wow.
You stop eating, suicidal ideation, withdrawal, depression, anger. And there's a lot, I mean, Jamaican women are some of the angriest women on the planet. And I guarantee you the vast majority of that anger comes from being abused as a child.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, the relationship, you run from this one to that one to that one to that one, and it was a nightmare until I decided to face it, look at it, and made a challenge not to have it own my life.
Did it affect your self-esteem,
Oh,
or
absolutely, 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 absolutely. Self-esteem goes out the window. There
mm.
is no more self-esteem. There's no self-worth. You don't see why that's why I stopped studying. Why should I? Why should I bother? You don't see a future.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a very conscious thing. You're not sitting there thinking this, you're not connecting dots. You can see the dots connected in hindsight, but in the moment you just know something is different. You cry for no reason. You don't want to talk to anybody. You hold your head down. You're digging your foot in the dirt, all that stuff. You have no self-worth. You have no you don't see yourself as human. You don't see yourself as worthy of love. It's the package of devastation, actually.
No.
Yeah.
Wow. So, what role did family play? Family and friends in your community. Did you get any kind of support in your healing process?
Oh, absolutely none. Oh, absolutely none. Um, I've had, I actually don't talk to the vast majority of my family anymore
Mm,
because they are the biggest enablers on the planet. Because I have four of my mother's eight brothers are known abusers. Me not ask nobody. One was arrested for impregnating his own daughter.
mm.
Wow.
Okay, so you can go to Mark Bay police station and pull up the name.
Yeah.
So it's a known thing. And when, especially back then, now I know they were more interested in protecting their family name than they were about, than they were concerned about the victims of these monsters. And so there was no support. You're left to fend for yourself. There is no resources. You can't go to the church because they're predators in the church. You can't go to the school because they're predators in the school. And so we're left to fend for ourselves and to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Julie Mansfield Samo.
Swamo! You
Swamo.
can't do it, man.
Just
Swamo!
Swamo. Hey, repeat it.
So,
Swamo.
That's it.
Julie
Go ahead.
Mansfield Swobo and Big Don. Yeah. So Big Don is right here on Cape Cod, big brethren, big friend. So big up yourself, Big D.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Listen, um, I'm gonna share. We don't like to call him Big D. We just like to call him Donald, but he's a huge guy. So his nickname is Big D.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
The name is
ta-
fitting. The name is
Listen,
take
listen.
it for what it is worth. I don't know. His name is Big D, ladies and gentlemen. So we
yeah.
In Jamaica, your physical appearance dictates your
Name.
nickname.
right,
Exactly.
All
right.
right, so that's
So
it.
I
so
will
he's
my friend me name, me have name Black Eye, no, man. It's sad, but I just saw it go.
all right. So Sister Julie, why do many survivors remain silent for years, and what prevents them from coming forward?
I think the first reason is the shame. If I were to ask you about your sex life, right, consensual sex life, you would have you would be embarrassed.
Mm,
And I alluded to it earlier, but and especially as kids, when kids are molested, there's a big cloud of shame. There is guilt. There is fear of breaking up families. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
There is, and sometimes when you do, like I did, when you do talk, nothing happens. So why bother? Why bother? But a big part of it is the stigma associated with it, because for years I walked around thinking any day someone is going to tap me on the back and say, "Hey, I know what happened to you."
Yeah.
There's a big cloak of shame that comes with it. And that keeps people from not speaking. And another one, and I get that a lot. I do some work with girls in Jamaica now. I get a lot of, I don't want to break up the family.
Yeah.
mm.
So I said it's a lot of reasons, but most of it is the shame associated with it.
So, what are some of the advice you would give to young men who they want to have a decent, consensual sexual relationships? They want to have pure relationships,
Mhm.
but they're still within the toxic culture of Jamaica. What advice would you give these young men?
I think today there's so much um, information at our fingertips, right? That we're not talking about the same Jamaica that you and I grew up in.
Yeah.
Okay, it's now it's a global community now, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so information is readily available. But I think the the first and most important is if you are engaging, no matter at what point you are, and that person says no, and it goes for I don't want to say keep saying just girls, girls, because boys are being
Experience it
ravaged in
too.
Jamaica.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boys are being abused, sexually abused in Jamaica, and because it's such a macho culture, it makes it harder for them
Yeah.
Mm.
to
Experience.
even admit that. Okay, um, so just know if she says no, the answer is no. If he says no, the answer is no. It's not maybe. It's not let me try and convince you. It's not you only I said that because blah blah. No, it's no. That's it. No
I'm glad.
means no.
You see, I'm glad you touched on the part there, because
Mhm.
I have had friends, female friends, say that they like when a man rough them up.
Rough. Yeah.
Mhm.
We've all, as men, we've all heard that. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they like when a man, quote unquote, hold them and take it. It
Mhm.
for them, it does something. What do you say to women like that, especially in today's day and age? Isn't that now sending mixed messages and mixed signals to men?
For me, what consenting adults do
Mhm.
Mhm,
is between consenting
In
adults.
adults. Yeah.
mhm.
That's it. But if in the midst of that, whatever, one party says stop, then both parties stop.
That's why I have safe words.
Yeah, that's it. But it's,
Mhm.
consenting, do you, boo, do you, whatever, hang from the ceiling, whatever you want to do. But the minute it gets uncomfortable for one,
Yeah. Yeah.
then you just have to respect that.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, but then as Donald said, they are, what do you say, safe words.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
but how do you, how does like a young couple trying to get to know each other, there is no safe word in situations like those, but the woman or the girl might not be, they might not hate the guy, but she's just not ready, and
Mhm.
he feels like, oh man, she just a play. I just play, she a play, man. Me still I go just do what me have to do. And
Mhm.
as we have often heard in
Yeah.
Jamaica, it's a constant saying. You guys must, Donald, you heard it. I'm sure you have heard it,
Yeah. It's
Julie.
it's it's it's
Mhm.
it's permission before, it's like better to, what's the saying, better to
To be
ask for,
safe.
no,
I'm
better to
sorry.
ask for forgiveness than
Than
permission.
permission.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
Okay.
it's that mindset.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really believe it's that mindset that causes a situation like that. Because
It is, but we have to realize that we're dealing with a crime
yeah,
at that point.
yeah,
Mhm.
It is a crime.
yeah, and it also I feel like there is no seriousness taken when it comes to a situation like that, especially by Jamaicans because of our culture.
Hmm.
I do think, and there's no words to kind of say to you, Julie, to what you have experienced. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's a sad day when something like that happens, especially, and if we dig into the data, and this is a conversation I've had with many females in my life,
Hmm.
where a lot of the sexual abuse, the assault that has happened to the women in our life are from close men in their life. It I cannot understand it. It's the men they trust, the men that the rest of the family would say would never do something like that,
Hmm.
because you know what I mean. And it's somewhat of a narcissistic tendency by those men to put up a front, to
Hmm.
behave as if they are good, wholesomely good persons who, you know they trick everyone around them into thinking that they could never do something like that, to the point where your own family wouldn't believe you.
Mhm.
Mm.
And it is definitely something that we as parents have to teach our young boys, because as much as we don't like to have the conversation, yes, it does happen to boys, but the ratio of which it happens to women, because I could say right now that, let's say, out of every 6 to 7 women I come into contact with, whether on a professional level or a friendly level, has had some sort of sexual assault in their life, and that cannot be good. You know what I mean? It it has to go back to the point where, what are we teaching our young boys? And this again, like Julie said, this whole bravado thing, where as men we don't have certain conversations with the our children, specifically the boys that we raise, to say, hey, while I understand the need to be this kind of ladies man, especially as a Jamaican, you have to also understand that your choice to womanize could be ruining someone else's life.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know?
you touch on the statistics,
Yeah,
and it's global statistics say 1 in 4 girls, right?
yeah,
In Jamaica, it's more like 1 in 2,
Mm.
because
exactly. Yeah,
almost everybody I encounter is
yep,
a Me Too story.
exactly.
And part of the problem is they view it as just the culture views it as just a little sex. And
Yeah.
so, even they might not, even though they might be abused,
Mhm.
they might not think they're abused, because we tell them, oh, it's just a little sex,
It's
it's just a little
downplayed.
sex.
Yeah,
It's downplayed.
yeah.
And that's the most dangerous thing. And I've had a mother said to me, it happened to me too. And look, for me, all right, nothing
You're
to do
all
me.
right.
You,
Exactly.
Mm.
you know,
Mm.
all right, sister
Yeah.
girl, because you're
Yeah.
angry.
Yep.
I mean, you're displaying all the symptoms of someone who needs psychiatric
Help.
help.
And and the thing about it, Sister Julie, the thing
Mhm.
about it is that it shows in their relationships.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
100% shows in the relationships they have. And
Abs-
yeah.
so another point is the pimping
Hmm.
of our girls by
Yep.
their own mothers.
Yep.
Okay, because there's so many mothers who know have taxi fare for go to school, but the
Yeah.
taxi man they
And
like
then
her,
exactly. Exactly.
right? So they
Yep.
turn a blind eye
Yeah.
because they're benefiting from it financially somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's it's
Yeah.
a it's a really, for me, it's an urgent. It needs a national dialogue, and it needs
Yeah.
it's
But
it's it's it's
Sister Julia,
overwhelming. Hmm.
yeah, I get where you're coming from, and we have been we have been talking about this forever. We've been talking about it for decades, and right now, I think it's kind of being swept under the rug, so to
Hmm.
speak, because
Still.
I
Yeah.
have not heard anybody like we are discussing it right now on radio and on social media. I
Hmm.
have not heard anybody in a long time discuss this issue. It's
Hmm.
like people they just kind of, it's like we have just kind of moved on, and people, I think, like, to me it's as almost like people are now just accepting it as part of par for the course,
Yeah.
and we're just like, well, it's a part of life. And what I still believe in today's day and age, it is still rampant
Yeah.
Oh,
in
it's
Jamaica.
oh yeah.
And we should, I don't understand how it is not still a national conversation. Ladies and gentlemen,
So
before we go any further, those of you watching on social media, especially those of you on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like button. If you have not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Somebody tell me something if it's that
yeah,
over.
man, you
You
Yes.
know,
have to
which
provide
which
engagement, man. Yeah.
yeah, and don't forget to have your own discussion in the chat so
Yep.
that just talk up the things them, ask
Yep.
a
I
question,
like up a page.
yeah,
Like up the
yeah,
page.
like up the
Yeah.
page. So I was talking to one of my coworkers today about it, and I say, sometimes I forget that I need to say these things, like subscribe and like
Yeah,
and
yeah,
share. We just come on, we discuss, so we are discussing, we come off,
gone.
and
Yeah,
we and
yeah.
so he said, no, Chris, you have to tell them
Yes.
like and share, subscribe. And I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to remember that. So
Yeah.
yeah, like and share, subscribe. Yeah. So
Mhm.
Donald, you were trying to make a point
Yeah.
before.
So I think Jamaica is still behind when it comes to emotional intelligence. Um, we we tend to not like to talk about things, and not just this particular topic that we're having a discussion about tonight. It's the things, the bad things, the murderous beatings where you get from your parents because you drop something. The
Mhm.
conversations about things that unless we have a conversation about them, we will not know how it affects the person that we've done it to,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And whether it be shame, whether it be um lack of caring, I don't know what it is, but there is definitely a gap between the rest of where the rest of the world is due to having access to all this information, and we're behind in terms of the use of this information to better ourselves, to be a society of functional people. Because a lot of us aren't functioning. We might look like we're functioning. We might be out in the world working, providing for our families, but we have a son that we've never told we
I
love
love
them.
you. Mhm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So so we are not functioning. We think we are, but we are not. So until the day comes that we begin to talk to our family members, to talk to our kids, talk to our parents, and the parents being reciprocal of that information, that whatever we are feeling is valid and not just something to be said. Like Julie said, the one lady said, look, mommy, that happened to me, I'm fine. It is not something because it happened to you and you were able to somehow um bury it deep down within, because that's the only way we like people that have experienced any sort of trauma. That's the only way we survive.
Mhm.
Without psychiatric help, the way we survive is we bury the emotions that are associated with the trauma, and we try to move on with life. But deep down, every time you are by yourself and you start to think about the things that have happened to you in your life, and you feel that deep sinking feeling in your heart, that is the trauma and the thing that you
Mhm.
need to deal with. So we as a society, we need to start looking, stop being the tough, hard-hearted people that we are known to be. Because of that, Jamaican say Jamaican strong, which we are. The
Mhm.
things we have endured as a people to be where we are in the world, as our placement in the world. No, you can't tell me any other country with that has done that, the size of us. But at the same time, we are not hard-hearted. We are tough. We are strong. We muscle through things, the hardships, but at the same time,
We're
we're
broken.
broken. Exactly, we are
Yeah.
broken, and we
But
need
you
to
you
have the
know
conversation.
a lot of that come from broken parents
Yep,
trying to raise kids.
true. Very true.
They
Mm.
can't give you what they don't have.
Yep,
And the
Yeah.
fact that they don't see themselves as broken, because
yeah,
that woman says to me, it happened to me and I'm okay, when
yeah.
clearly
Mm.
she's not,
No,
she cannot give from what she doesn't have.
very
Mm.
true. Very true.
And she's going to
Mm.
pass on that kind of attitude to
Yep,
her kids, who are going to pass it on to their kids.
yep,
And so the cycle continues and the cycle continues and the cycle continues.
yeah. True.
So, what would be the advice you give to people who are survivors who may feel ashamed, broken, or afraid to tell their story?
For me, it's very simple. Is to reassign that shame.
Yeah.
And when I used to do workshops where we literally reassign the shame
Yeah.
and hand it back to the person
Person.
to whom it rightfully belongs,
Yeah.
the
Mm,
predators.
Yep.
mm, mm.
Let's start there. You have no fault, no shame to bear.
No.
Give it to the nasty, dirty man, them.
Don't forget to like and share, people. Don't forget to like and share. Don't forget used to saying that. Don't forget to like
Mhm.
and share. What should parents teach their sons and daughters about respecting boundaries and personal safety?
No means
No.
no.
No. Yeah.
Not to
It's
not to cut you, Julie,
mm,
but you remember the days when that campaign used to run? We remember them campaign then as kids,
mhm.
like growing up. We used to back in either primary school or high school.
Mm,
It wasn't very. People never take it seriously, it ended up becoming a joke. But we used to have those campaigns. You don't see them anymore.
Mm-mm.
You notice that they are not as prevalent as I remember as a kid in primary school when they
mm.
would have the concerts with the no means no. But I
Yeah.
don't
Okay.
know. It doesn't
Mhm.
happen anymore.
Yeah,
Mm,
I haven't seen it. The last campaign, the last national campaign I saw in Jamaica was called Break the Silence. And that
Yeah.
was after some horrific
Situation. Yeah, I remember
situation,
that.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the question was break the silence and then what? The kids don't trust the guidance counselors because the
Exactly.
guidance counselor then chat them business.
Yep.
They have no recourse. So where does that leave our kids?
mm,
When they have no one they trust, they don't trust the adults, they don't trust the police, they don't trust the teacher, they don't trust the guidance counselor, they don't trust anyone
Yeah.
with that sensitive information.
Yeah.
mm,
So it's I think now the OCA has a safe space,
Yeah.
which is a virtual thing. So I think that might be that no, not might be, that's a good start because at least
It's a
there's some
good start. Yeah.
anonymity.
Yeah.
yes. Yes. Uh, so I'm gonna throw this question out there because all of us, I do believe all of us have a part to play in this world. But as Jamaicans, do we all have a part to play in Jamaica? What can each of us do as citizens to create a culture where abuse is less likely to occur and survivors are more likely to be supported?
I think first is to start with is stop calling it a little sex because it's anything but a little sex.
Yeah.
It's
Mm,
anything but. So let's very basic. Let's start there, and and really give it the identity that it's a scourge. It's a crime. It is a crime of the most disgusting nature
Yeah.
mm,
that destroys lives. There are
And
kids in
future.
Jamaica hanging themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, the suicide rate among our kids, in Jamaica. Why are kids just getting up killing themselves?
Yeah.
mm,
Because it's not just, let's start there. It's not, it has nothing to do with sex.
No.
mm.
That is not
Nothing.
sex. Sex is supposed to be enjoyable, and
Thank you.
if
Thank
if,
you.
if one person isn't enjoying it, that yeah,
Thank
no,
you. And
yeah,
let's start calling for the government of Jamaica to make the sexual offenders registry
I think
Oh,
public.
yeah,
I couldn't
yeah,
agree with you more. I
exactly.
couldn't agree. You know what? I cannot for the life of me understand the rigmarole
As a
of
modern society, at that,
the
Mhm.
how is it that they're
yeah,
still debating whether or not to make this thing I think you know what I mean. Like how, where, why? How
so
is it that the sexual registry is not something that everybody? I think. Don't you believe, lady and gentlemen,
mm,
that if we made this thing available to the public, it would. I'm not saying that it would put a stop to it, because
No.
human beings are human beings.
Their
Yes,
nature,
Right,
yes.
but
yeah.
wouldn't it? Don't you believe that it would put a check on this
So,
this
so
behavior?
let me jump in there, because I asked that question of a very senior person in Jamaica, politician. Me not call her name, call me, I have to go back there. And when I posed the question, why is it not public? I was told they were afraid of vigilante justice. And I'm like, shouldn't that be the predators? Come
Problem.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they need
yeah.
to worry about
You're
that,
more
not you.
concerned
Yeah,
over their safety than the children they're
children.
ravaging.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Make that make sense.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
What was that?
crazy.
What was that song again? We are the one.
We are the world.
Mhm,
We are the future. I forgot
mhm,
who sang that song. But that is it. You are given the responsibility to protect the children.
yes,
So
Mhm.
what is your concern of someone who is committing a crime, whether
against the
and
child.
as against the said child? So that is my thing. You care not enough about those children to provide some sort of immediate reprimand
Mhm.
outside a prison to those
Yeah.
people. No, sir, that don't make no sense to me.
Let the predators fear ending
This
up on that list,
exactly.
Mm.
right? Because they know if the community are come after them.
Yeah,
Let that
and
be their
that's them
concern.
shame. Yeah.
That might be a deterrent. That
So
might just be a deterrent.
What about the age of consent, though? I'm just throwing that one in there. Do you believe that the age of consent has anything to do with the whole thing that we're talking about here? I don't know.
So they misuse, in my opinion, right?
Mm,
They misuse that because what to bolster their numbers and their statistics. Because if two kids under the age of consent
mhm.
are experimenting, two kids the
Kids.
same age
Yep.
under the age of consent, it's a crime. And they will prosecute those two kids and use those numbers to bolster their statistics,
Yeah.
Mm.
right? Now, another thing I take issue with is the reporting. And actually, there was one judge, Judge Pusey, okay, who said
I
in
think you're
her
saying that I
sent
call on him.
no fear name I can't come
No
I have to go
fear.
with her already,
Yeah.
Okay,
because
okay.
Call
it's
it him.
yeah it's I forgot there was a some guy and he was convicted of raping. For me, it's raping a child.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
in sentencing that man, she said to him, if she never consent, she cannot consent statutorily. She's
Mm.
underage. So
Yeah.
there's no consent.
Mhm.
So you cannot say, some 57-year-old with a 12-year-old.
Yeah, yeah,
Come on, she can't
yeah.
consent. He
Yeah.
can't consent
I tell you. You know,
according to your own law.
I even have a problem with age being 16 to, to be honest with you, because trust me, you can't vote when you're 16, you can't get a driver's license when you're 16, you can't live by your own when you're 16. There are so many things that you can do when you're 16, but
Mhm.
yet them I tell you say, yeah, it's okay for you to go do the do at 16. We have a problem, a
Mhm.
serious problem with that. And then you have some big greyback man,
Me
molest
like
the
how you clean that up, you see. Me like how you clean it up.
yeah, sometimes I have to draw back because I remember that I'm
Mhm.
on radio. So
Yes. Mhm.
so if it was just YouTube, me there, part, we say well, what I say,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but you know what I mean. It's just ridiculous that these people. I don't know. But
I
anyway,
think
ladies
I think
and
there's
gentlemen,
current discussion about the age of consent in
they're
Jamaica,
not
actually,
serious about.
and
They're not
about
serious about it.
decriminalizing two minors for doing what minors do all over
Well,
the world.
Yeah,
exactly. I
yeah.
was a minor and I did the same thing, and
Hmm.
No,
yeah,
I was a minor and I was a saint.
yeah.
So let's
Which
put
Saint
one?
that.
Cut it
Christopher.
out.
Let's put that on record. Let's
Cut it
put
out.
that on record. I was a minor and I was a saint.
You're a minor who was a major saint.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the Caribbean Vibes Radio Network. We are live on our YouTube channel, and we are having a spirited discussion. So, right now, what we're going to do, for those of you who would like to participate, we have a phone line here, we have a phone number here. If you want to have your say, if you want to ask a question, if you want to ask Julie a question, if you want to ask Donald, who is the expert at this thing, at the question, the number is 508 762 7621. 508 762 7621. WhatsApp 508 762 7621. WhatsApp line 508 762 762 line. WhatsApp. I have to stress on that night. WhatsApp. All right. So let me just take one small break and we will be right back. Stand by.
To shore. LA's fine, but it ain't home. New York is home, but it ain't mine no more. I am myself to no one there, and no one heard at all, not even the chair. I am my pride. I am said and I am lost, and I can't even say why.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're the boy from St.
There.
Thomas, the boy from St. Thomas in the house, lost between two shores. What does that word? We soon come Jamaica. We soon come, whatever we are. Lost between two shores. All right, so that was the first segment. Believe it or not, we still have a little bit of time left, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, if you want to have your input, you can give me a call 508 762 7621, the WhatsApp line. And in the meantime, we I want to ask this question one before we move to the next segment, Julie. After everything that you have experienced and learned, what gives you hope for the future of Jamaica's women and girls, if any?
I think, and you alluded to it earlier, but I moved back to Jamaica, what, 4 years now? And I think the access to technology, to programs like this, so it's not just, it might not be talked about in the homes, but
Mhm.
information is readily available.
Yeah.
And there are organizations on the ground that are trying. They're trying. And the fact that, Parliament is now debating the age and decriminalizing um, consensual sex between minors,
Yeah.
that gives me hope, because then these young kids won't end up with a criminal record for doing stuff everybody does. And I think just the they're different. It's not the same Jamaica we grew up in.
Mm.
It really, really isn't the same Jamaica. And I think women, girls are now more, and kids in general are now more vocal
Yep.
and
Mhm.
and self-assured.
Yeah.
So
And
you have hopes.
I do have hope. I
Mm.
do. As long as there's breath in this body, I will have hope, because if I give up, then I will not try to affect some change. I wouldn't try to help some of these kids who are being ravaged and all that stuff. So I have to have hope that it will get better. It can get better. Conversations like these will help. And, we need to start teaching boys that persistence It's not necessarily romantic.
Boy, so that me hear, you know, say as a man, you have to go after where you want, you know, and
Yeah.
you can't give up easy, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And when a woman, I just hard to get job, play hard to get, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when a woman I say to you, say, yo, leave me alone, she don't really mean say you have to leave her alone, you know. You have to just give her some more lyrics.
Right, right. And I think we're getting to the point where and we keep saying girls, 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 and I have to reiterate because it's a lot of boys, way more than you would imagine, that are being sexually abused.
Mm,
And it's some kind of bragging points when an older woman rapes a 15-year-old boy. It's almost like she
why?
has, but it's still, because if it was the opposite,
Lord have
where,
mercy. Yeah,
yes, where it
yeah,
was a
yeah.
girl, a 15-year-old girl with a 57-year-old man, we would all turn our noses. But
Right.
because it's a woman and a young boy, we turn the other way. That too is wrong.
You realize some can't even wait for jump in for that one now because there is you know there is such a double standard in society because I have seen on social media in the news of so many in recent years in the United States of America,
Hmm.
so many women who are abusing, because that's what I call it,
Hmm.
abusing kids. And when you go into the comment section, when you see these news articles and you go into the comment section, you hear someone and say, yo, that I don't know abuse. That's
Thank
not
you. Hmm.
abuse. That should have been me when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So it's like to men, it's a badge of honor.
Hmm.
You know, they see it as a badge of honor. And if we should go back as to our boyhood days,
Yeah.
and we should think about, because I'll admit I've lost it at a few of my teachers,
Hmm.
and I don't know if those teachers had abused me, quote
Hmm.
unquote, if I would see it as abuse. I
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm just being honest, because I would see some of that. I would see that as a conquest.
And that's how it's viewed, unfortunately. But the laws on the book says
Mm.
it's abuse.
Yeah, but let's take it a little bit further. The fact that it never really happened to me,
Hmm.
I can probably look back and say why it should have. But what about the people who it actually happened to? Do you believe that those boys bear some kind of scars and
Absolutely.
emotionally?
I work I work with and I do presentations with one such boy who's now a grown man, and he can
Mm,
tell you the hell he went through.
mm,
So yes, it on the face of it, and because again we live in a macho society, he's got bragging, yeah man, we get that big old man there. But deep
mm.
down inside, it is a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
we have to get rid of the double standards when it comes to the protection of our children.
But when you talking about again in the United States of America, the women who do these things, they often get away with a slap on the wrist. Why is that?
I don't see. I mean, we can go back to Mary Kate Latorno or whatever her name was,
Yes,
and she went to prison. I don't think that's a slap on the wrist.
There is
I think that she. I think
a
that
few.
she.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Donald.
No, no, sorry. I was just saying there are a couple of them, and you are right. The extreme, like the frequency at which it's happening now, or maybe it's been happening at that frequency for a while. It's just due to the internet. It's now more, you know,
It's being
broadcasted.
reported more, right?
Exactly. But I have noticed an uptick in those stories over the last, 6 to 7 years, where you see these women, and this is the thing about it. It is not. It's not. It's not women that you think might not be able to because some of these stories turn into Netflix specials.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the sadder part about it, that we're using these stories to turn them into some sort of
Entertainment.
entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
So there's that side to it, but there is a uptick. I can very much remember last year alone there was about 5 to 6 stories that I personally came across, and they were all different women. One of
Mm-hmm.
those women did it with, I think, um somewhere around 12 of her students.
yes, yes.
So you get what I mean? It
Yeah.
definitely is
And
not
some of these women are married women,
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
you
exactly.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't understand it either, but there is something in the air. I don't know what it is. I know nothing good.
We need anti-pollutant.
Yes, exactly.
I tell you. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are talking with Sister Julia and Brother Donald. We're talking sexual abuse and age of consent and everything to do with the topic. So the the main issue is Jamaican men and how they interpret the message that women send, right? And from my perspective as a Jamaican man who is not so young anymore, not too old either, but somewhere in the middle, I have learned, I have experience teacheth wisdom, right? And I am not bashing the culture. I'm just saying, as a wiser, more experienced Jamaican, we need to take a step back and we need to look at ourselves, because sometimes it's not just about the harsh tone, because we can come on here and we can bash and we can tear down and we can say, but I, as a Jamaican man talking to my Jamaican brethren, we need to take a step back. One of the things we need to do is to remember, especially the children. We have to remember, say, these children forget nothing. And when you believe that, when you will look at some men who are abusing a minor, not even a minor, a toddler, and believe that they are not going to remember, you are scarring a child for life. And believe it or not, they will remember. Put yourself in that child's shoe. Do you remember the things that happened to you at 4 years old? Especially if it had a negative impact on you. Do you remember the place that it happened? Do you remember the smell in the place that it happened? Do you remember? A lot of things may happen to you where it's like time stands still. And every time you are drawn to it, you will remember the clothes that you were wearing. You will remember. Think about a traumatic experience. Let me put it this way: of you probably witnessing somebody getting unalive, right? In the most graphic and gruesome way. It will affect you for life. And you will remember, a lot of you will be traumatized by that. I want you to think about what women go through. And I'm specifically talking about women. I understand that boys are going through it. And maybe we can discuss that at a different date and on a different show. But today we're talking about the abuse of our women and our girls in our society. A lot of women in Jamaica are unable, and Donald touched on it earlier, are unable to function effectively in a marriage, in a relationship, because of what happened to them decades ago. Now, you, Mr. Man, who I'm talking to, You might be experiencing such actions right now, such results, such repercussion because of something that somebody else did to your no wife or your no girlfriend. But do you remember what you did to the little girl that is still not spoken of? Do you remember? It is time for us to wake up. It is time for us to start coaching our boys and telling them that no means no. And if a woman says stop, if a girl says stop, we're living in a different society today where people are going to prison for things that happened 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
People are bringing it up and people are sending people to prison. Some people may not end up losing their freedom, but they lose their jobs. They lose their respect in society because we now have a thing that is called social media where one person can go viral and they can take you down. So I'm talking to my fellow Jamaicans, those who are listening to me on the radio and those who are watching me on social media. It is time for us to wake up. It's 2026. We can make a change and we can do better.
Well
Julie?
said. So, if I may say, sexual violence doesn't begin with rape. It begins with disrespect. It begins with objectification. It begins with harassment. It begins with coercion. And it begins with the belief that a woman's body is something a man can earn, demand, pressure, or simply take.
Mm,
Attraction does not create entitlement. Desire is not permission. Interest must be mutual. Consent must be voluntary. A woman's body is not community resource. The absence of a yes is not a yes. Respect is proven when the answer is no. We have to do better.
Donald?
Um, the, to be quite honest, the only thing that I would have to say is towards the men. And like Chris said earlier, yes, it happens to boys, but like I said, it the majority is women. And for our more gentler, you know, partners in life, we need to do better. We need to. We love our daughters to death enough to kill a man if them touch her a certain way, but not enough to hold the people in our lives that take advantage of our trust in them to treat our children the same way that we would treat them. And without some sort of accountability in our society for the men that perpetrate these sort of just vicious acts, we will never get better. We will be in a cycle till the end of time, or till we are so damaged that we cannot come back from it.
Mhm.
So I urge the brethren them, where I don't care if you think by some rite of passage that you deserve every woman that has shown you any form of kindness, because that is the thing. We believe that a woman showing us some sort of kindness or respect is some sort of
Invitation.
invitation to
Mm,
to force ourselves upon them, and it is not right. So
mm,
as me said to the brethren them out there, look at the things that you have done in your past. I am not here to judge you based on mistakes, but to continue with on this path, it becomes a choice,
yeah.
and you are choosing to ruin people's lives. So think about it, look into yourself, and change. Make a very, you know mindful choice to change your ways so your children can come up in a better future in Jamaica, and your friends' children, all the people you know, so that you pretend to care about,
Mm,
it need to change. It need to.
yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I think that we have exhausted this topic.
Oh no,
We
oh
could
no, there's so much more to no, 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 no,
no.
Cesar.
Hold on, no, hold on, no, hold on, no, man.
Yeah.
Hold on, rush.
Talk him up there.
Hold
Talk
on,
him
rush
up
me
there,
so
Julie.
much. I mean, for the night.
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what.
This is a
For the night.
forever endless
It's no,
conversation.
on a serious note, yeah, because we can talk about this. 'Cause that's what I was about to say. You know, we can talk about this for a very long time because there are so many different parts to it,
Hmm.
and the dialogue must continue. And Sister Julie, we we need you to continue on the journey that you are on, and
Thank you, thank you.
you have our support. You
Definitely.
have a silent, so we might not be vocal, Sister Julie, and when we see you on social media, we might like and we might share, but we might not comment.
Hmm.
But the vast majority, and the reason is, and let me tell you, the reason is it's a very touchy
Hmm.
topic. A lot of times people don't know what to say and they're afraid of saying the wrong things.
Hmm.
So sometimes people will say nothing.
Hmm.
But make no mistake, your journey is Jamaica's journey. Your story is Jamaica's story. And too many of us, because the thing is, a lot of Jamaicans don't realize that even their own family members. It would shock some of us, some of us who are grown and old now, if our sisters should spill their guts to us,
Hmm. Hmm.
we would drop down, because sometimes our sisters were molested by our uncles,
Hmm.
and they do not want the quote unquote shame in the family. And so they keep it inside of them. And some of them will say, I will take it to my grave.
Absolutely.
So this thing is not, it's time we have an open conversation, and it's time that we support people like you, Sister Julie. And I am willing to continue to strengthen your voice,
Thank you, thank
to
you.
share my platform with you so that you can amplify your voice and the message, not just about the past, but about the present
Hmm.
and the future. Because at the end of the day, the past dictates the future.
Hmm.
And some things just need to change. And if you are the lone voice in the wilderness, so be it.
So be it. I have a big mouth and I am not afraid to use it.
Yes, that all the while still.
Eh?
So,
Yeah,
ladies and
man.
gentlemen, I want to say thank you to Brother Donald and Sister Julie for agreeing to come and chat with me this evening. I had a bit of challenge earlier on into putting this thing together because it's the first time I'm using this platform, to be honest with you, this
Mhm.
particular. So it was giving me a little bit of a headache. So we had a late start and everything. But we will be back on our regular platform in due season. But in the meantime, this is where you will find me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Them say me fi say it, so me I say it.
You have to
Yeah,
say it.
Yes,
don't like
brother.
so. Those of you who are on the channel right now, on the YouTube channel, please hit the like button before we go. Hit the like button, share it if you like what you heard we were discussing. And if you want to talk about it amongst yourself, please share it with your friends and have your discussions in your living room, have the discussions in your break rooms, but this is a very serious topic that we need to continue having conversations about. Until next time, when we will have another hot topic. My name is Chris Wilby. Take care. God bless you. Thank you, lady and gentlemen.
Yep, yep.
Thank you,
Pleasure
thank you,
Appreciate
meeting
it.
you,
thank you.
Julie. Take care.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
Bless up, bless up. What good?
all
Yeah, you
right.
too. Yeah, you too.
All right. God bless you. God
Okay.
bless
All
you.
right. Bless.
to shore. LA's fine, but it ain't home. New York is home, but it ain't mine.